Welcome to another edition of our Folkloric Symbol Show on Metro TV. On this show, as you know, we talk about arts and we talk about symbols. Because as we always say, they said art is a symbol because man is a symbol. They depict our life. They tell us a lot that we don't know. We pick them, we use them any other day, and we don't even know what they mean. They are deeper than that. They are communicating a lot to us. So, thank me later. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As I said, this is our Folkloric Symbol Show on Metro TV, and it's sponsored by Danwell Insurance. And we are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board. They are the custodians of our symbols, of our folkloric symbols, from the south to the north. Everywhere you find symbols, they are the custodians of it. So this is brought to you in good faith, just for you to know what you see and use all the time. So today we have a very common symbol. You see it all the time. It might be common to you, but it might not be common to you in terms of what it is. It is called the fihankra. Fihankra, or what? It symbolizes, well, the literal meaning of it is a house or a compound. So it looks like it. And when you know how we build our, traditional houses, it's more or less look like that. Today we have a great mind who is going to talk to us about fihankra, a renowned retired professor from the Marshall's University in West Virginia in the United States of America. He's in the person of Professor G.F. Kojo Arthur, and he's also the author of the book Cloth as Metaphor. He has curated a lot of the Idinkra symbols in this book called Cloth as Metaphor. Yeah. So in this book, he has a lot, and we would like to narrow down on fihankra today. He's going to give us all the gist about fihankra, the social aspect of it, the religious, historical, every part of it. And you stick and stay with me. Prof, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Metro TV.
Thank you.
Yes. First of all, tell us about fihankra. What is it?
Fihankra is the Akan concept of a compound house. And also symbolizes one's identity. Because when I meet you, I will ask you, from which house are you? And when you tell me the house from which you are, it identifies you to me, that you come from this lineage. And it tells me about your social connections and all that. And it's typically built as a rectangular house, and it will have an open space with verandas, and there will be doors leading from the verandas into inner rooms.
Okay.
And it's a symbol of protection and security, because when you come from outside and you enter a house, you are protected from the elements outside. And it makes you feel secure in the house, and it makes you feel welcome to the house. And it also gives us the idea that you are protected when you come in the house. But because it's an open building, there is an inner setup. So you come from outside, you come inside, but then you come into an open space in which the Fanti call Pado, or the Asante call Ediwo. You come into the Pado, which is an open space, and in that open space there will be several activities going on in the compound house. there will be a section where there will be cooking going on. There will be a section where kids will be sitting and playing, and there will be a section where people will be just sitting and chatting. And then there's also an open room, which the Fante call dampan. And the Asante call peto. And this dampan is just an open space. So oftentimes the dampan will be where they will store all kinds of things, and particularly when occasion occurs like a funeral, they will lay the person in state in the dampan. And in some cases, they will also have this dampan as a sitting room where people will be seated when they come from outside, and they will be welcome there. So this fihankra has a multi-purpose to it. You enter into a room, you usually will enter into a sado.
So more or less like a hall, a living space.
Living hall. And the hall will also lead into a bedroom.
Yeah.
So you come from outside, you come into the open compound. So you are in an open space, even though you are inside.
So you are more, is that the reason why it depicts security? Because if you are outside, you are open to a lot of things that you not on the normal day experience in a room.
That's right.
So that's why the symbol represents protection and security.
That's right.
All that.
But when you are inside the open space, that's open.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's open to everybody in the household. But when they take you into the living room, it's a little bit more secure.
Okay.
And sometimes a conversation will take place in the living room. But if it's a more secret conversation, they take you into the chamber.
Into the chamber.
So the house, the fihankra, will be like you come from outside, you come into an open space, which keeps you protected from outside. But then you come into an open space which is also open to everybody in the household. But then they can take you into an inner chamber and a more inner chamber too. Okay,
so this symbol, in terms of the architectural part of it that you have just explained, should have some intangible that it talks about. So does it talk about, for instance, the not talking about everything in the open, and for that matter, having to talk about things when you have to talk about it inside.
Right.
So it's like the security of secrets too, somehow.
That's right. Things that are internal to the household will be brought inside the house. And things that are outside the house will be kept outside. And if you have some, you didn't feel. You didn't want bunting. You talk about things that are related to the house, inside the house, and not outside. And a house that is also rife with internal squabbles and all that, we refer to that as Yabosiabo. The pebbles in the house cut deeper and worse than the pebbles on the outside. That internal strife can cause more strife in the household than the outside one. But oftentimes, despite the fact that there will be these internal squabbles, people will rally around and come together and fight the outsider.
Exactly.
Okay. And there is also a proverb that relates to the importance of having a house. That when I come into your town, I don't ask to have you tell me how much money you have. I ask you to tell me where's your house.
Yeah. So, okay.
Belonging to a house is very important, or having a house is very important.
So here the house will mean the clan you are coming from. It's
That's
also
right.
part of it.
That's right.
And from the clan, then it gets to the family you are coming from.
That's right.
So fihankra also represents all of these.
That's right. And it's not so much how much money you have as an individual, but if you have accomplished, you show me your house. And putting up a house is a very tangible representation of your accomplishment.
Your accomplishment.
And coming from a no place, for instance, will indicate to us that more or less you are a non-entity. Okay.
So fihankra, from what you're saying, is representing my family, my clan, and me.
That's right.
So it gives me an identity. So it tells you where I am coming from. It tells you what I can take and what I cannot take. It tells you my name. It tells you who I am. So what is the concept? I mean, the concept of home or identity in the Akan structure?
A home is where somebody lives. And it's not just a building.
It's not just a building.
House is not a home if no one lives there.
Yeah.
A house is a home when someone lives there. So the Akan concept of fihankra is where people live. And where people live, you see this also more tangibly in terms of the elderly taking care of the young kids in the household, passing on stories and
family heritage.
Heritage to the young kids. And at the same time, you see the young kids keeping the old people company.
Yeah.
So that there is the interaction between the old and the young in the Akan concept of household. And it's not just a building, but there is this active interaction going on. And you have the elderly being taken care of by the young people, so that in their old age, they're not left alone to be on their own, but they have the young to take care of them. And the young too don't have to worry about who is home to take care of me when mom and dad are gone to work, but there will be the grandparents in the house. So the Akan concept of fihankra is not just the individual, but the whole lineage.
The whole lineage.
Yes. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and other relatives in the household.
And that depicts that kind of shows some kind of security.
That's right.
With that, because if you have a home, basically you have security, because I mean it's basic human need. But aside that, in terms of security, it protects you whenever you are not in the home.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So the Methodists have something to do with this symbol, don't they?
The Methodist Church uses as, I mean, the Methodist Church rather uses the symbol called Yamidia as part of their logo. And the Yamidia is part of the compound house.
Okay.
In the sense that the compound house will have Yamidia planted in front of the house, away from the roof. And in the Yamidia will be a bowl that will collect rainwater directly as it falls. And this rainwater is referred to as insukronji ehru, and so enshi.
Okay.
Pure water, holy water, that is boiling,
Yeah.
yet it's cool. And this holy water is used to sprinkle on people when they have ritual ceremonies in the household. And the Methodist Church uses this nyamidua as part of their logo. And it sits in front of fihankra. And it's interesting that Methodist Church company, Dunwell,
they are sponsors actually.
They also use the fihankra as their symbol. So, and interestingly, Labadi Methodist Church, they've used 5 Edinkra symbols, which in essence makes the statement, the Son of God became the sacrificial lamb for the household. Obanyankunsroma, ebeye musuyide krapa a yedeje fihankra.
So can you please say that again?
Obanyankunsroma, the Son of God, became the sacrificial ebeye krapa anamusuyide a yedeje fihankra.
So here the fihankra will mean the world.
Or the church.
The church.
Yes, the Christian church.
Yeah, the Christian church.
And
no, because the Christians say Jesus died and his blood has saved them.
That's right.
So basically, fihankra being part of the symbols that is communicating that it's, representing the world. That's how I see it. I don't know.
Okay. Again, the Christians believe that Christ came to die to save mankind.
Yeah.
And the Methodists, at least at Labadi, they are saying that Christ, the Son of God, became the sacrificial lamb to save the household.
Save the household. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, you might have seen fihankra, all over the place, but as Dunwell Insurance also uses it, and you'll be wondering what it means. It's not just a house, it's not just security, it's much deeper than that. It tells you a lot about what we think about homes and all that. What our system of home, or our system of clansmen, bandmen, and all those people, all those things really mean. So it's not just a symbol, it speaks much more.
Again, fiebe na wufrimu.
Okay.
From which house are you?
From which house are you?
You tell me the house you are from, it tells me your identity.
Yes.
And not just as an individual, but as social relations.
Social relations.
Okay. And tells me your lineage and whether you are Asia Royal or freeborn or whatever.
Or born
okay. And the Fiebe, it's also indicative of importance we attach to the personality you bring to society. That if you come from a home that nobody cares about, nobody cares about you too.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we build these compound houses, but as society is developing, we see structures that are housing people, and these are structures that ordinarily we wouldn't use as residential places, like Ntabodan. Ntabodan will be a structure that will be used to store animals or to store food items or whatever. But we've come into some urban areas, and people live in bordered buildings, these temporary structures and kiosks and all that. Somebody is telling me that there's some place in Shamai, they call it Intabo Kiosk Estate.
Wow. has a lot of stuff,
right.
a lot of
That's right.
shanties.
And then also, not only that, because of development, that people are not so secure, we surrounding the compound house with fence walls. And you live in a fence wall, and then you have a symbol saying beware of the dog, and your own relatives can't even visit you. But the compound house was such that you just knock on the door, I go, and people say, come on in, and you just enter.
So it's kind of, even though it's more of like a family thing, we still are welcoming of outsiders.
That's right.
Or people in the community, if we have to say so. So this, our family system, for instance, how this thing has helped us in, I don't know how to put it, but I'm trying to say that this is something that talks about our oneness, but still talk about the fact that the South Africans call it Ubuntu. You are because I am, so we help each other. Though we are family units, we still are able to, you know, come together through these things. I mean, it speaks a lot about how we value our family systems. So here, I want to talk about the family system because that's what exactly fihankra depicts. What, comparing here, you have lived in the US. One time I heard a politician saying that everybody has a house in Africa or in Ghana, because at least in America we have like homeless people, but here we don't really have homeless people because everybody has a house. So at least that system alone is helping us not to be homeless, as you know, not having a place to go when you get to a particular point in life, but you have to, you have a place to go to at the end of the day. So I think that's one symbol that is really yeah,
I mean,
very important.
We belong to homes to the extent that if you didn't have somebody from your household, say in Accra, and you travel from the village, they will ask you, where are you going to stay? And not until we developed hotels and guest houses, travel wasn't encouraged because you have to go to Accra to stay with relatives. And even in the villages, the fihankra was such that kids from other houses will come and play in one's house and then go. And oftentimes, even though they'll come and play in one's house, they were not encouraged to eat in where they were playing. They were encouraged to go back home and eat. Abofra want nefin or jaba. If you don't stay in your own house, you get beaten. You get beaten. So even though you are welcome in somebody's house, you still expected that you belong somewhere. You belong somewhere. There is this sense of belonging in this fihankra identity. And when I went to the US, what struck me was that I was a taxi driver. And Saturday and Sunday when I worked, this old lady will call me and she will order for food to be bought for her, and she will pay for the food and the taxi ride. And you go and she's in the house by herself with her dog. I made it a point to just go and keep her company. She was bedridden. She was sick, but she had a nurse come in and take care of her Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, she was on her own. An old lady, which was something that you could hardly have in Ghana. My great-grandmother, she lived to be about almost 100. And she was in the house with us, and all of us kids suck on her breast. Okay? Okay. I mean, from one generation to another in that fihankra. Okay. I remember that we had a cemented platform, and other kids will come and study with us in the evening because my great-grandmother will provide a lantern for us to study.
Okay.
So this idea of a household, fihankra.
Yeah, let's hold it right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our Folkloric Symbol Show. We are sponsored by Danwell Insurance, and it's in we are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board. We are talking about fihankra today, and we have Professor G.F. Kojo, and he's a renowned professor, and he's retired now, and he's also the author of this book, Cloth as Metaphor. It's a catalog of Adinkra symbols called Cloth as Metaphor. So it tells the stories of all the Adinkra symbols you see. I mean, most of them, if not all. So let's go for our second segment. We'll be right back. So that see bisa wo fie enye sika dudu awo. Ye bisa wo fie enye sika dudu awo. To it, we ask of where you are coming from and not the amount of money you have. And who knows what you have? What you have is in there. Nobody can see it, but when they see you, they want to know your identity. Who are you? Who do you represent? Where are you coming from? What's your name? It's all ties into fihankra. Let's hear what Prof has to say about this proverb. Prof.
Ebisa wo fie enye sika dodo a wo wo fie identifies you.
Yeah.
And it tells so much about how what is it you have accomplished. So if you put up a house, you can point, this is my house. I live here. I come from this house. But you don't go and tell people, I have so much money sitting in the bank. And nobody is interested in that. People are interested in tangible results that you can point to. And not just the house you build, but what relations you are in terms of where you come from. So, yebisa wo fie, yebisa wo sika dodo a wo.
Wow. So when we see people at first sight, what we ask them is who they are, their identity. Well, sika dodo a wo, or the money you have might come later, but at the end of the day, it's who you are that we always ask. We've been talking about fihankra, and it has opened our minds and our eyes to how we value our home system or our clan system or who we are as a community and as families. Fihankra depicts a lot. It depicts safety, it depicts family, it depicts a house. Professor G.F. Kojo has been of great help to us in terms of what fihankra is. And we've had a very beautiful discussion on what fihankra is. And our second segment too has been amazing in terms of what we've been able to give to you. I mean, from our perspective, and we hope you also got that same feeling we had. And we'd like to call it a day now. And in the studio we had Professor G.F. Thank you so much for being on our Folkloric Symbol Show. We are doing this in collaboration with the National Folklore Board, and we are sponsored by Downwell Insurance, who use fihankra as their symbol. A symbol of safety, a symbol of homeliness, a symbol of home. Thank you for being with us. See you next time.